Dick, the key word is elimination. Like any other sport at playoff time, you lose just once, you're out. And that'll happen here today. 8 boats have qualified. And the way they set up competition on these elimination brackets is the way they qualify.
That's right, Jim. It's a typical eliminations ladder. The first fastest boat against number 8, the second fastest against number 7, and so on. 8 boats to 4 boats to 2 boats. The top qualifier, take a look at him. Chip Hanauer. He ran 147 miles per hour with Mark Tate right behind him at 146. Jim?
Unlike other races on the 95 circuit where we put 5 or 6 boats abreast, this format does not dictate that. It's a different type of lake. For that story, here's Steve Montgomery.
Jim, it's become very obvious to us after watching qualifying and testing. It's a 2-boat race course. The question is, are 2 boats going to fit? Watching qualifying, we saw the fast boats use the entire race course. Way on the outside on the front and back chutes. The drivers throwing the big boats through the turns, right on the buoy line. All that centrifugal force carrying them out to the outside of the race course once again as it tried to tear all the hardware off the boat and throw the driver right through the side of the cockpit. Now the question will be, can a fast boat running on the outside leave room for another boat on the inside? And we're about to find out.
Budweiser versus Appian Renegade. Now we asked both of these drivers about running on this shorter than usual course.
It's racing Greyhound buses on a go-kart track, and it makes it tough for the drivers. But if I was a fan, I'd pay money to see Greyhound buses race on a go-kart track.
Well, I think it'll be a difficult task. There's not a whole lot of room out there, but I do feel fortunate myself that I'm going into the corner with someone like Chip Hanauer next to me.
There's the start of the first matchup race of the day. Chip Hanauer closest to you, and the Miss Budweiser on the outside takes the lead. High atop the course in a helicopter in every race, Chief Referee Mike Noonan is looking down with a bird's-eye view. He wants to make sure the boats stay right on their course, in their groove. Jim Hendrick talked to him earlier.
All the guys know the rules. All the guys have been on the race course. They all grew up driving on courses like this. This is where they got their experience on small courses. So they respect each other. They know what the rules are. And it's just a matter of give a little courtesy and give plenty of room to the guy next to you.
We should point out this is the first time this weekend that 2 boats have been on this course together, so we really have an unknown commodity there. Steve, what's it look like from your vantage point?
Well, Dick, we had everybody holding their breath as the 2 boats went into the turn. They made it just fine. We might point out that the fast qualifier in most of our races chooses to run on the inside. Hanauer, as we probably will see throughout the day, wanted to go outside, and that's definitely, Dick, where the fast lane is going to be.
And fast he is. The Miss Budweiser coming around. This was the fastest qualifier in the field of boats that we have here today. Over 147 miles per hour on this very tight course. Bounces a little bit coming out of the turn, back into the groove as she comes down finally around the beaches and then into the straightaway down toward the start-finish line. At the end of the second lap, the Zodiac Sports Watch's lap time is 136 miles per hour.
Dick, that's a very fast speed on a course this size. And here's something we don't see on the bigger courses we race on across the country. The boats are actually catching up with their own wakes. There will be no such thing as a smooth racetrack out here today.
And we want to give some credit to Tom Henley, the rookie driver, who's out here doing a good job holding in on all that slop out there, too, because there's a lot of it going to the inside. Here comes the run to the finish line. Chip Hanauer setting the pace out here today on Fireburn Lake. Chip Hanauer takes the checkered flag, our first win of the day. So Chip Hanauer with 400 points, and he advances into the next round, while Tom Henley, who comes into the same dock they're launching the T Plus from, gets 300 points. However, he'll go on the trailer for the rest of the day. Let's go down to the pits and Steve Montgomery.
Chip, great job, but the question is, how hard was it to leave room for Tom on the inside?
Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. I'm surprised. I think it's going to be okay for 2 boats.
How about when it's Mark Tate or Dave Villwock?
I can't leave him so much room. I can't be Santa Claus. I was Santa Claus. You know, it was Tom's first heat ever in an unlimited hydroplane. And, you know, coming here and under these tight situations, I wanted to make it as easy as I could for him. But no, Mark's no rookie. He doesn't get so much room.
The Ron Jones Marine entry, it's going to be Stephen David on the outside.
Scott Pierce in a virtually new race boat, Dick. They barely had time to set this up for big courses, let alone this tight one. We'll see how he does now on the inside.
You might wonder if that beaching had any effect at all on Stephen David. Well, it sure doesn't look like it. He's keeping his speed very high on the outside of the course. As Steve pointed out earlier, many times on the bigger courses, it's the inside boat with the advantage. This time it looks like, again, as in the case of the first matchup with the Miss Budweiser, the outside boat is the boat running fastest.
Here's the view again. This is the way it's supposed to look out the front of the T-Plus when he's on the water. And Dick, we might point out the outside lane here is actually smaller than our inside lane is on the 2 and 2.5 mile courses.
And I've wondered about it a little bit because they're coming right down by the grandstands. Normally they don't see the spectators very clearly, but here they are right next to them in that outside lane.
And vice versa. The spectators here are getting the closest look at unlimited hydroplanes that I've ever seen.
Right now, all eyes are on the T-Plus with Stephen David, the boat that was on the beach yesterday. It had minor damage to it. They fixed the skid fin, and it's back in the lead this time, but there is a problem with Scott Pierce.
Scott had given it a good run on the inside, Dick. Now he may have some gremlins in the engine room.
No gremlins for T-Plus. Steve David coming down for the white flag, signifying one more lap to go, and his lap time from Zodiac 123 miles per hour. Very tight course as these boats go into the turn. You'll notice he kind of slides across the water. The skid fin that we've been talking about so much is the only thing holding him in there, and it doesn't look good for the Ron Jones Marine entry.
Here is Scott still running. We should mention that 123 mile an hour speed is very fast for this race course. We were here 20 years ago, and our qualifying speeds were 100 to 105.
That's right. So that shows you the refinement on these boats. As Steve David comes around to take round 2, he is going to complete the beach turn where he went up on the beach yesterday. This time, no problem for the boat. T-Plus is coming home for the checkered flag. Steve David will advance now to the next round with 400 points. Meanwhile, nothing but problems for Scott Pierce. We're sad to say it doesn't look like he's going to finish.
Here we see Scott coasting to a stop. We'll show you where he got in trouble for the first time. This is the second turn of the first lap, and you see that Steve David has come through the turn, stirred up the water, and as Scott comes through there, he just can't find smooth water to race on. That's hard on equipment, Dick.
All right, and in lap 2, out of turn number 1, again, we watch the attitude of the boat, and he starts hitting the slop. It looks like he's clear, but then all of a sudden he starts hitting into it, and obviously it's a very rough ride. Watch right here. He actually takes waves over the bow of the boat. There he goes, and boy, you get into that, and that boat is not going to fly on top of the water at that point. Now, it also might be, this is, as we said, a saltwater course, and we could have some problems. Let's go down to the dock.
Thanks.
Steve, for one brief moment, you were behind.
Well, and I was going to lap him, is that it?
No, in the first turn, you both got through there side by side very nicely.
Yeah, it was really important, I think, for both Scott and I to get through there. I got the most respect in the world for Scotty, and I just want to get through safe and clean and then race, and that's what we did. And boy, what a testament to the T-Plus engine treatment of my crew to get this thing back together after I destroyed it yesterday on the beach. So this is a redemption for me, and thanks to my crew.
You kept it in the water all the way. The commissioner walked by and said, I think we could run 3 boats.
Yeah, the commissioner is on some kind of medication, maybe.
I don't think we'll try 3. Mitch Evans, and as they take the start, it is the yellow and blue boat on the outside to the left of your screen, holding even with the inside boat, and let's see how they come out of the turn. He slingshots past Mitch Evans. Mitch Evans in the red and white boat on the inside of the course.
Mitch Evans has piston power, Dick. His boat's about 1,000 pounds heavier. You can bet he'd like to be on the outside, but I thought he did a good job of getting through that turn.
He certainly did. Inside the Smokin' Joe's, now the number 2 qualifier in our field. It's a little bit of roughness there, some of the wake left over, and now he continues on a straight shot. You can see the grandstand off to his right. They get very close to it, as we've mentioned before. Now it looks like Mitch Evans has gone a little to the outside.
Well, he's already far enough back, Dick, that he doesn't have to worry about the rooster tail overlap. He can go to the outside, and you see here the apex of the turn that Mark Tate talked about. He is clear on the inside when he reaches the apex. He's using the whole race course. 131 miles per hour for Mark Tate on his second lap. He has 1 lap to go for a victory here, Dick.
Mark Tate was the 2nd fastest qualifier. Mitch Evans was the 7th fastest qualifier. That's the way the ladder works out. And here comes Mark Tate down now for the checkered flag. He makes his final turn onto the front straightaway, comes down by the grandstand. Every hand is up, giving him a great big wave of congratulations. And the checkered flag goes out to Smokin' Joe's Mark Tate. 400 points will go to Mark Tate, 300 points to Mitch Evans. Mitch fighting it around the turn just a little bit. Now we see Mark is heading back into the pit area. You see the crane right straight ahead of him, shuts down that big turbine engine, and just lets the boat glide into the dock. We've got a lot more racing to go, more match racing. Ken Muscatel getting ready here. What is this? The dipping of the feet? Maybe that's for good luck. Or maybe it's just to get the sand off his feet. I don't know. But whichever one, he'll get aboard his boat. Meanwhile, Steve is ready with a winner.
Mark, first question, the first turn. Any problem leaving room?
Oh, I felt I left plenty of room. I think there's plenty of room out there for the two boats. And as the day goes on and the heats will get tighter, you know, we'll actually see what room there is out there.
Did I see you doing some testing on the inside?
I was tightening up my line a little bit, checking how the boat was going to hit in the rough water, and just kind of playing it easy and learning things as the day goes on. And I think that's what I'm going to need to do if we hope to make it down to the final.
The last match race of round one coming up. Of course, in the red and yellow boat, and as they take the start, it is going to be the red, white, and blue, mostly blue and white boat of Pico's American Dream. Seem to be trailing as they came into the turn, but watch him as he comes out and he slingshots past Ken Muscatel.
Dave Villwock doing a nice job of leaving plenty of room for the doctor. Ken Muscatel is a clinical psychologist from Seattle, and he thought he might need some of his own care here after trying to qualify this boat and spinning it a couple of times on his qualifying attempts.
So far, he seems to be handling it very well, and he's got some pretty clean water on the inside because Villwock is staying very, very far to the outside.
So far, Ken Muscatel hasn't had any big problems here in competition, doing a nice job of running on the inside. This was just a few minutes ago, Dick, during a warm-up lap. Look what happened to the doctor. He did a 270, no damage to the boat, but that's what can happen when you're trying to run these tight turns on the inside.
And you know that has to be on his mind as he goes around that same turn moments later. But Dr. Ken Muscatel so far holding the boat in second place on this run, as you can see, about a quarter of a lap behind the leader. Now he starts hitting a little bit of slop, and he's got to be careful because that boat tends to get extremely light, and if he loses his contact with the water, that's when he's going to spin around like that. Dave Villwock doing a good job out there. Lap number 2 for him, down about 10 miles an hour from his first lap, but as you can see by the Zodiac Sports Watch lap speed, 113 miles per hour. He is not going to rip up equipment if he doesn't have to.
Ever since mid-season last year, the Pico's American Dream has been one of the hot boats on the circuit, and we expect to see Dave save some of that speed for later in the day.
Well, he gets plenty of speed as he comes into his final turns here on Firebird Lake. The crowd now getting ready to welcome him home with a checkered flag as he will move on with 400 points. Dave Villwock has got to be happy with the performance of this boat. He takes the checkered flag, winning the final race of round number 1. Ken Muscatel, more problems.
Ken is out of power. He is coasting toward the shore, and he is going to end this heat on the beach.
So he will not finish the race. Here's your final 4. The Miss Bud will take on T+. Pico's American Dream will take on Smokin' Joe's. Now let's